Hi there, welcome to Mac TV, where we showcase what older adults do in our area to be active, be healthy, and stay engaged. Collectively, these senior stories make up the overall story of Mac, and we can't wait to share them with you through Mac TV. The love of gardening is a seed sown once that never dies. Not only is gardening an excellent way to ensure that you're getting nutrient-dense, delicious foods, it's also a proven modality for stress relief and getting in some physical exercise. In this episode, we're going to take a look at some of the most beautiful gardens in our area and in our communities. But first, let's take it over to Janet Park to see what assistive technology problem she's going to solve for us today.
Hi, I'm Janet Park, and I work at Mac Incorporated in the Caregiver Resource Center. And as you can tell by some of the things behind me, I play with a lot of tools that make life easier for people. So I was challenged when somebody came in with a seed packet. Just an ordinary seed packet, but here's the challenge. My person has low vision. They cannot read what's on the back of this packet because it's in really teeny tiny print. So stay tuned and I'll tell you what I suggested to my person. Bye.
Thanks, Janet. Can't wait to see what you have up your sleeve. Stay tuned to see how to read that small seed packet print. Gardens come in all shapes and sizes, but the impact they have on some people's lives are immeasurable. Join me while we go through and see what the growing, harvesting, and planting process really means to a couple of the seniors in our Mac family.
My parents were both really good gardeners, vegetable gardeners and landscapers. Our yard was beautiful. My father was an orchid hobbyist, so I kind of grew up loving plants. And when I had a yard, I loved it too, but it got way too much for me, and I had trouble finding somebody on a regular basis to help me take care of it, so it got to the point where it was driving me crazy. So I downsized house and yard, and now all I have is the balcony. I love it as both a sitting area and a garden area, so I have to keep the plants under control, leaving enough room for the sitting area, but I put my house plants out there. I try to grow some herbs. Still need a basil plant. I forgot about that. And several of my neighbors put out hummingbird feeders, and I don't want to be responsible for a hummingbird feeder, but I would love to attract them, and did last year. So far, not this year, but maybe soon. I also am trying this year to grow zinnias for cut flowers, because that's one thing I miss about my yard, is just being able to go out and cut a vase of flowers.
I started gardening when I was a youngster. Both my sets of grandparents, who had dairy farms nearby, always had gardens, and they called them truck patches. They grew large amounts of vegetables over the summer and canned, and then later froze them, and they very rarely bought any vegetables off season in the wintertime because they had them canned or frozen. My parents and I lived in a little town in Chester County, Pennsylvania when I grew up, but we had a big lot. I could even keep a pony there in a little stable, and we had a garden there, and my mother would send me out to pull weeds on a regular basis, starting at probably age 6 or 7, to give me something to do. It was good. And I enjoyed it, and then if I grew some extra things, she would let me put them in my little wagon and pedal them down the street to the neighbors and make a little money to buy ice cream. So I was motivated with that. So I just took it up. I live the same place now that I've lived most of my adult life in Somerset County, Maryland. I have a little farm and a little more than 13 acres. A good part of it's woods and a conservation plan because of its proximity to tidal water. And the rest is cleared. It was a pasture for horses at one time, but I've always had a garden there, and I'll be there 53 years in November. Grow a lot of vegetables, different kinds and different species over the years. I have learned over the years that every year is different. People ask me about gardening, and I'd say, why are you asking me? Just a joke, and say, because you've been doing it a long time. I said, yeah, but it's different every year, and it is. I find it therapeutic physically and mentally. When I'm out there, it's nice and quiet. I can do some work. I can do it at my own pace, and it works very well. And I love to share the vegetables. We have some older neighbors in the community. I guess a lot of them are younger than me, but they're not as healthy as I am, and I'm thankful that I am. But it helps keep me that way. It's therapeutic. It's therapeutic for me mentally as well. It's that nice little quiet time that I can enjoy. And when I carry bags of beans or greens to neighbors or friends in the community, or children and grandchildren come and get things when I have them, it's fun to share them. My wife and I certainly can't eat all that I grow. Garden is about 25 feet wide and about 140 feet long. So it's a pretty good sized space. I can manage it with, I have an old cultivator with a big wheel on the front that you push. It has some little teeth in it that I use to cultivate between rows when plants grow too big and I want to work the soil a little bit. And then I have a front-tine tiller that I run to break it up in the spring and to run between rows, or to chop up plants that are done and incorporate them into the soil and then replant more things. I enjoy it. I would recommend it to anybody as a try it out. Try small and see if you like it. And it's wonderful.
As important the things we grow are on a personal level, a single garden can alter an entire community and change many people's lives. One would struggle to find a gardener or a garden that has had more of a community impact than Martin Hutchison and his Camden Community Garden.
My name is Martin Hutchison, and I'm pastor of Community of Joy Church in Salisbury, and I also am the founder of the Camden Community Garden, and I am the City of Salisbury's Secretary of Community Gardens. So the Camden Community Garden was an idea in my head about 9 years ago. It has been in existence for 7 years, and as a pastor of a church, it is my belief that a church at its best should be an agent of God's love and blessing with no strings attached. Which means I've always been looking for ways to be involved in the community in ways that show love in tangible ways and bring blessing to people in our community. And that's what the Camden Community Garden is. And it's a city-owned lot that was vacant, filled with dog poop and trash when we started 7 years ago. We leased the lot from the city for $1 a year for 3 years the first go-round and 10 the next go-round. So we have 6 years left on our lease. But I think it'll be here forever, even long after I'm gone, as long as someone comes along to run it. It's 20 beds that are 24 feet long by 4 feet wide, and we grow a little bit of everything in our garden. We grow beets and peppers, several kinds of peppers, several kinds of eggplants, several kinds of kale, collard greens, cucumbers, cucamelons, tomatoes. We have a bed of herbs, we have strawberries, we have all kinds of pollinators along the periphery. The garden itself is located next to a playground, and the idea of that was that we would be able to engage the children who come to the playground, oftentimes without parents, and they're inquisitive, and so their first question usually is, what are you doing? And their second question usually is, what can I do to help? My excitement about that is that the children then learn the process of gardening. They learn that food comes from a garden. It doesn't come from Acme or Food Lion or Walmart or McDonald's. And if they grow carrots, the kids will eat carrots. They're willing to try just about anything one time. And it's exciting to see that. It's exciting to be able to provide healthy, fresh, organically grown vegetables to the families of this neighborhood. The garden is here for our neighbors, and it's open 24/7, 365. As long as there's something growing here, if you're in this neighborhood, you're welcome to come and harvest whatever is ready. We have a sign at the end of the garden that says in English and Spanish what's ready. We need to add Haitian Creole because some of our neighbors speak Haitian Creole. And there's a sign that corresponds with each bed to the sign that says what's ready. We also have a green stake, red stake system where we've painted a PVC pipe red or a PVC pipe green, and if it's green in the bed, that means there's probably something there ready to harvest. If it's red, that means it's not ready yet. So visually you can look across the garden and see what's ready and what's not. We're here on work days a couple times a week. The neighbors, we announce them on social media, and the neighbors come. Folks from Pinehurst Elementary School, which children are in this neighborhood, people from the churches, people from the community, people from all over come and engage in this process. It's been a beautiful thing. It's been far bigger than I ever imagined it would be. It was the catalyst of now 4 community gardens on city-owned lots, 3 of which are adjacent to playgrounds. They're all operating in various forms of success. The Camden Garden is the first and has been the most successful, and largely because my congregation gives me availability to be here and work this garden anytime that I want to. It's a part of my job. It's a part of the role that I play in the community, and they like that. The second year, we added summer lunch at the garden as a way to engage children who are hungry, who are out of school and are used to getting free meals in school, and so the Board of Ed brings a hot lunch every day, Monday through Friday during the summer. And thanks to the generosity of a local Rotary Club, we have an art teacher that comes 3 days a week, and they fund that and the art supplies that we need. And then just recently, 4 years in the making, the City of Salisbury opened the Newton Street Community Center, or the Copeland House at the Newton Street Community Center. And that was an idea that I had as I was weeding one night. I kept looking at this boarded up, beautiful brick home and thinking it could be so much more than an eyesore in the community. And the city caught the vision. At the same time, they had a vision of running community centers. And 4 years later, several $1,000s later, here it is, and it's opened, and we've been operating summer lunch out of it this year, and it's just been beautiful to have. And I hope that it'll be a huge blessing for this neighborhood, for the children of our city.
Before we look at Mac's gardening operations, let's take it back to Janet and see how we can read those tiny seed packets.
Well, welcome back. Remember my seed packet problem that I can't read the back of it? Well, I wanted to show you just a few simple to more exotic type of solutions so I can read this. We always have the famous magnifier, and it does work. And it works for a lot of people, but not everyone. But sometimes you need a stronger one that has a light in it. So you can put light on the subject, in this case our seed packet, and then you can see what you want. You can also do something like this one, which is a very fancy type of video magnifier. It means that I can see and enlarge what's on my seed packet, but I can do more than that. I can change colors. I can make it reverse so it's white print on black. But maybe some of you already have a tablet. You can get apps and use that on there. There's free ones. You can also do the accessibility features on your tablets and try that. They're free apps. Just enjoy yourself. There's also really nice ones that go on your computer. So you can have a really big screen, and there's other choices that it will do what's OCR, optical character recognition. It's a fancy name that means it takes a picture of it, and then it takes that picture and turns it into real words that are talked to you. And you can even choose the voice, male, female, British, it's fun. And it will even talk to you. So great. They're expensive choices, which are those computer ones that are standalone. But you can do simple ones. You can do a bar magnifier or a globe, just lots of choices. So stop in, give us a call at the Caregiver Resource Center at MAC. So bye for now.
To wrap up this episode, let's take a look at the gardening opportunities that MAC has for its participants.
Hi, my name is Tracy Larimore. I'm the Assistant Activity Director here at the Life Bridges Adult Day Program here at the MAC Center. In addition to engaging with our participants, one of my responsibilities is overseeing our program's courtyard and garden. Our garden is a memory garden in two aspects. The first aspect is we had a previous employee who worked here whose son passed away from a medical condition. So we continue to honor Grant by naming the garden Grant's Garden. But in addition, we call it Grant's Memory Garden because our folks that have been diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's, they have difficulty with memory. Sometimes taking them out in our garden can help to spur those past distant memories that we've all heard usually can manifest with folks with a type of dementia. So we call it Grant's Memory Garden in respect of Grant, but at the same time having our participants have a piece of naming the garden. The courtyard is available to all of our participants. Our weekly program includes strolling through the garden, discussions about the varieties of flowers or herbs and vegetables that we have growing within the garden. Sometimes we just sit out and relax in the shade on the benches. We watch the birds, the butterflies, and sometimes our neighborhood bunny rabbit comes by to visit and hangs out underneath the shade of one of the bushes. For those who may have enjoyed hands-on gardening, we take them out. We can let them plant in our raised boxes. We have flowers and vegetables. At this point, we have some tomato plants, a pepper plant, and a couple of marigold plants in the raised boxes that our participants helped us to plant. For those who don't enjoy the garden, that's when we can take them out and they can just really sit and not have to participate, but are still included in that experience of being out in the garden. The garden provides many benefits to our participants, such as exercise, sensory engagement, and socialization. So we welcome you to come by anytime and take a walk through the memory garden. Just sit, maybe enjoy the shade of the day and watch the birds and the butterflies. So anytime you would like, please stop by and enjoy the garden at Life Bridges.
The Healing Rose Garden was originally established for breast cancer survivors, and the idea was so that they could become a group and work on something in common, have some physical activity, grow cancer-fighting vegetables, and spend some time in a peaceful, beautiful place as a way to recover and feel some optimism. And, a lot of positive things came out of that. And over time, because of funding, we expanded it to include cancer survivors of any diagnosis. So right now, 7 years later, we have a season that runs about May through October. And we raise vegetables here at MAC for people to harvest on their own, or we can help them if they're not able to, so that they're eating healthy food. It's raised using organic principles so that they're not worried about pesticides or chemical fertilizers. And the importance of that is sometimes when people have experienced cancer, they get rededicated to a healthier lifestyle. Sometimes they're thinking about things like pesticides and wanting to avoid them. So this is a nice free way for them to get good quality vegetables. And it's really enjoyable to watch the growing process, going from either seed or a transplant and seeing it grow and become food. It's very peaceful, place for quiet reflection, something hopeful. If you'd like to find out more about the Healing Rose Garden at MAC, whether you're a cancer survivor or a potential volunteer or just someone who loves to look at gardens, we'd love to have you. Please contact MAC for more information.
Thank you so much for joining us and allowing us to share our senior stories with you. So don't forget, be active, be healthy, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time.